Let's get straight to the storyline. One day, King T'Challa was in critical condition. Shuri, his younger sister, tried to save him but failed.
Is with the ancestors.
King T'Challa finally died and Wakanda no longer had any hero to protect them. Wakanda was then led by T'Challa's and Shuri's mother named Ramonda. 1 year after the death of King T'Challa, the countries of the world had begun to fight over Wakanda's resource called vibranium. In an international meeting that was held, these countries wanted Ramonda to trade and buy vibranium, but Ramonda refused for fear of the threat posed after the other countries had it.
Proof of the involvement of a member.
Some time ago, a group of trained people came to the Wakanda Outreach Center in Mali and tried to steal the vibranium. They thought that after the death of King T'Challa, Wakanda became weak and could be attacked, but they were wrong, because during the attack it was a female army Wakanda led by a general named Okoye put up a fight and succeeded in defeating the attackers. At the international meeting, Ramonda presented the attackers and emphasized that Wakanda was still as strong as a country as before.
Best of you.
Because they wanted vibranium, several countries had apparently teamed up to search for vibranium outside of Wakanda. They conducted a search in the Atlantic Ocean using a vibranium search tool created by a genius scientist. They managed to find it at the bottom of the ocean, but when they tried to take it, they were attacked by aliens. They looked like humans but had blue skin. Everyone involved in the search for the vibranium died and left no evidence of who the attackers were. After word of the attack spread, people assumed that the attack was carried out by the Wakandans. Meanwhile in Wakanda, Ramonda was with Shuri and persuaded her to move on from the death of T'Challa. Shuri at that time was still too sad and denied her mother's persuasion.
I'm not doing this, Mother.
They were alone at that time in a quiet place near the lake. Suddenly, someone appeared from the water and the two of them were on alert. The person who appeared claimed to be someone named Kukulkan or Namor. He had two small wings on his right and left ankles that allowed him to fly quickly.
My enemies call me Namor.
Namor informed that America had succeeded in detecting the vibranium under its territory. He then invited Wakanda to work together and asked Wakanda to find the scientist who created the tool and give it to Namor.
I hate to come back under different circumstances.
Of course Ramonda didn't immediately agree, but Namor's arrival really surprised her and made her hold a meeting with tribal leaders and elders in Wakanda. They were all surprised to hear Ramonda informing the arrival of Namor, because Namor was completely undetectable on Wakanda's radar and sophisticated security systems. After the meeting was over, Okoye asked permission to find the scientist and took Shuri with her. Ramonda initially refused, but Okoye assured her that Shuri would be safe.
It was more than one meteorite. Our planet is covered what she needs. Besides, it's imperative that we get to the scientist before it.
Okoye and Shuri finally went to find information on Ross, who had been saved by Wakanda. From him, they knew the location of the scientist who turned out to be a student at MIT.
Wanted to airdrop it.
Shuri started meeting the student named Riri. She started discussing the vibranium detector that Riri created, but Riri said that it was just her college assignment.
This place is no longer safe. I'm probably gonna say that in Wakanda.
Shortly thereafter, Okoye arrived and forced Riri to come with her to Wakanda. Riri then had to go with them, but she asked to visit her workplace so she could bring her laptop. Riri's workplace was apparently a garage and there was a technology design similar to Stark's technology that Riri created. Not long after, the FBI came and surrounded them.
The hell is that?
They fled using the vehicle that was there. Riri wore an armor that looked like Iron Man, Okoye drove a car, and Shuri rode a motorbike. They then tried to escape from the FBI and almost succeeded. But suddenly, they were attacked from another direction and made them fall on the asphalt. Shuri then fainted. It turned out that those who had attacked them earlier were Namor's men called the Talakan people, and they attacked from the water. They then came to the surface and tried to kill Riri, but Okoye fought them and continued to protect her. Okoye then fought against Atuma, but he was very strong and overwhelmed Okoye. Okoye then plunged into the water. And at the same time Shuri woke up. Shuri then tried to persuade Namor's men not to kill Riri by introducing herself as the Princess of Wakanda. Atuma then took Shuri and Riri into the water. Arriving in Wakanda, Okoye reported everything that happened and asked to immediately go save Shuri, but Ramonda was furious and dismissed Okoye from her position.
You will be stripped of your rank.
After that, Ramonda asked Griot, who was an AI created by Shuri, about her whereabouts, but Griot only managed to trace Shuri to the North Atlantic. Griot said that her captors spoke Maya Yucatec.
Yes, my queen. People who took her spoke Yucatec Mayan.
Ramonda then went to Haiti and met Nakia, who lived there. She then asked Nakia to help investigate the kidnappers of Shuri. Nakia then began to seek information from local residents about the whereabouts and location of Namor. Meanwhile, Shuri and Riri, who were brought under the sea, were treated well. Namor even invited Shuri to talk and showed Shuri the home of his people named Talokan.
I brought this sun to my people.
At that meeting, Namor also told that he was a human descendant who tried to escape from the invaders. At that time, the mother and other relatives drank a liquid made from plants that contained vibranium. Soon they lost the ability to breathe on land. They then went underwater and started life there. Namor was born as a mutant, so he had wings on his feet in stranger shapes. When his mother died, Namor went to the surface to bury her, but instead he saw humans colonizing other humans. Since then, Namor hated the surface world.
Spanish man of faith, curse me.
Namor also gave his mother a bracelet made from a plant containing vibranium to Shuri. Their conversation ended because Namor was called by Ramonda, who was on the surface. At the same time, Nakia, who managed to infiltrate there, saved Shuri and Riri, but she shot a resident of Talokan. Shuri and Riri were then taken by the Wakandan plane that was waiting for them. This then made Namor and his people furious. He then announced to his people that they would go to war with Wakanda. Not long after, Namor's attack began. He and his people attacked indiscriminately. Ramonda, who heard the attack, immediately contacted Shuri and asked her to stay in a safe place, but Shuri wanted to help fight the attacker. At that critical moment, Ramonda controlled many planes to save her people. She was assisted by Riri, who was with her. Namor, who could fly, destroyed the Wakandan planes that tried to attack. He also attacked Shuri's plane so that Shuri and her plane fall into the water. After that, Namor attacked the building where Ramonda was, causing Ramonda and Riri to drown. Ramonda was unconscious, but she woke up when she was in the water. Ramonda could have gone straight to the surface, but she chose to save Riri first. Soon Nakia and Okoye came and helped her. Riri survived, but Ramonda died. Shuri, who managed to save herself, went straight there, and she immediately became hysterical when she saw her mother's condition.
For I will wash Wakanda from the face of the earth.
After that, Namor returned to the sea. Shuri then returned to mourning. During that sad time, she had an idea to create a heart-shaped herb using fibers from the bracelet that Namor gave her. She then started implementing her idea and asked Riri to work. Riri was given a place and started making robotic armor like the one she had made before. At the same time, the residents of Wakanda were being evacuated to safety. After many processes, Shuri finally succeeded in making the heart-shaped herb. Nakia, who accompanied her, was very happy about this. She then pounded the herb and drank it to Shuri.
I had the courage to do what was necessary to change Wakanda.
I'd never choose you.
Shuri then became unconscious and her subconscious met Jadaka. After realizing Shuri had superpowers, so she needed to wear the Black Panther costume.
God selected the ruler. Instead, they wasted.
Shuri then came wearing that costume to the meeting of the elders. They were very happy and looked relieved to see the Black Panther reappear. They then immediately held a meeting led by Shuri. Shuri seemed to want war with Namor, but M'Baku, who was one of the tribal chiefs, tried to persuade her not to go to war. Shuri, who had been devoured by emotions, did not hear and remained firm on the plan.
And you're going to help me get it.
The war began. Wakanda would go to sea with a large ship. They were the greatest warriors of Wakanda. Riri also joined the war with her robot suit and Okoye, who wore a new costume created by Shuri. The Wakandan ship then launched a sonic attack into the water, which hurt Namor and his people. They were forced to the surface, but were immediately fired upon by Wakanda. The chaos of war ensued. Shuri, who became the Black Panther, also fought bravely. She trapped Namor into the plane that had been prepared to weaken him. Namor began to look disturbed and seemed to lose strength. Meanwhile, Namora, who was one of Namor's ace warriors, destroyed the sonic transmitter on the Wakanda ship so that the attack disappeared. The Talican people from under the water began to attack and detonate a lot of explosives under the Wakanda ship. The Wakanda ship was seriously damaged. Namor, who was trapped in the plane Shuri, started attacking the plane so that the plane almost crashed. Then Shuri ordered Griot to take them to the desert, but the plane was destroyed by Namor on the border between sea and desert. Meanwhile, the Wakanda and Talican soldiers were still fighting. Shuri and Namor also started fighting. Namor managed to stab Shuri in the stomach, while he himself started to run out of strength and had to get into the water as soon as possible. Namor started limping towards the sea, while Shuri tried to escape from the spear that was piercing her. After she was released, Shuri then confronted Namor and set him on fire. Namor was still alive, but he was helpless. Shuri then was about to kill him, but her mother's shadow appeared and gave her advice.
Show him who you are.
Shuri did not kill Namor and instead offered a deal. She asked Namor to surrender. In return, Wakanda would protect the oceans inhabited by the Talican people and would also protect their secrets. Namor then agreed to the offer. When the Wakanda and Talican soldiers were still fighting, Shuri and Namor came and announced that the war was over. Namor ordered his soldiers to return home. The chaos in Wakanda due to the attack had been repaired, and now the people were back to living in peace. Riri, who had left her house for a long time, was finally taken home. Before that, Riri said goodbye to Shuri and was given a very memorable gift, namely a car left by Riri's father that had been repaired. In Talican, Namor was visited by Namora, who objected to Namor's decision to choose according to Wakanda. Namor then tried to explain to her that it was the best decision that would benefit Talican. After the situation became peaceful, Shuri visited Nakia in Haiti. When she got there, Shuri immediately asked for time to be alone. Shuri then went to the beach and burned her mourning clothes as a sign that she had stopped mourning the death of T'Challa. Shuri remembered T'Challa, who was so close to her. She then cried because she couldn't hold back the tears. Shortly thereafter, Nakia approached her with a boy. She then introduced him that he was Toussaint, the child of herself and T'Challa. They agreed to raise him in Haiti away from the pressures of the throne. Shuri, who heard that, was of course surprised, but she was also happy. Toussaint then said that Toussaint was his Haitian name. His real name was Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa.